Is this thing on? Welcome to Good Chats. I hope this thing is on at least anyway. That would make a change if I'm actually got the mic on for the first time. Yeah, exactly right, JK. Let's see if I get it right. You never know what will go wrong. Welcome aboard, Noel. G'day to Coffs Harbour. Hopefully it's a little less hot up there in Coffs. G'day Drew's Adventures. Welcome aboard, Drew. Good to see you again, mate. Gee, you've been going great guns lately. Great to see you're vibing and you've really hit your straps, mate. Great video on the East Murray and excellent responses to your videos at the moment. So that's great. It's really encouraging to see. Doing well, legend. G'day Andy Munro, welcome aboard. Also doing real well, putting out the long form content with Yarns of Rubbish, so go check out Andy Munro's channel. He's just starting to hit his straps as well, mate. Welcome aboard to JK, the producer of the show from downtown Hillston there in Western New South Wales, always keeping me honest with my mic levels and whatnot. And I've got a sneak preview video for you to all have a bit of a fact check on in a minute, particularly you, JK, because you know what you're talking about with this stuff. Everybody's here tonight. I'm back in the studio for a change, so yeah, less chance of stuffing things up. Last week at Murray Bridge was interesting, to say the least. G'day Rebro, welcome aboard. It's not quite hot enough yet. G'day Luke's Fishing in Northern Territory. Finally we understand what it's like to live in the Northern Territory today down here in Adelaide, the hottest city on earth. Who else have we got on board? Kingsley Purvis, he's over in Clapham. G'day Kingsley, you've been getting around a lot lately. Definitely the embodiment of the spirit of the grey nomad. Kingsley turns up somewhere different every week at the moment, so it's always interesting to hear where you're at and what's going on. Who else have we got on board? We've got O'Malley Tours. Cheers for coming on board, Mick. Great to have you on board. You're just driving along the beach in the mini moke, no worries. You just got to move the Cortina to get to the Land Cruiser so you can move that so you can get the mini moke out, hey? Who else have we got on board? It is the greater metropolis. Yeah, no, you've really hit a mainstream chord, man. So fantastic. It's great to see when a channel finds its audience and finds the chord and just really runs with it, man. And yeah, record the history of the places as well through a modern lens. It's kind of what we're all trying to do here. I haven't even gotten to the bit where what this live stream's about. I'm still just trying to get through saying g'day, but it's essentially what we're all about here is sharing, learning stuff about history. Outdoors type is generally turning into a railway history channel, but there's so much more to explore out there, and it's great to have everyone on board. We've got footy history people, we've got abandoned history people, we've got a great group here as well. So we've got Josh on board as well. I'm great, mate. How are you? Heard about your phone on the old Facebook there. Sorry to hear that, sir. So hopefully sort that out soon. But great to have you back on board. It's been a while, man. So hopefully 2025 will be your year, my friend. And Anne Burke, or Amber K, or whatever. Hey, I met you guys out at Balhanna last week, and I mentioned that on my Murray Bridge stream too. If you go back and have a look, how cool was that, man? So thank you for coming on board. This is Good Chats. I do this every Wednesday night at 8:15 p.m. just because I can, and just to prove that I can keep coming back and doing it every single week. It's created such a cool group of people and allies to my channel, and I know that you guys are all allies to each other's channels as well, and so it's excellent. It's essentially a bit of a vehicle for me to learn. It's also a vehicle for me to bounce some things off. So this week, as per usual, I've forgotten to bring my notebook in, so I am just going to go do that. In the meantime, just talk amongst yourselves for a minute. Yeah, Josh, I had a phone stop working a few months ago, and it's a big thing to change everything over from an old phone, especially when your old one is unresponsive and you basically got to start all over again. But yeah, I've got a pretty jam-packed show. So O'Malley's out in the mini moke at the moment, cruising down the beach, looking at the coolest stream that you could possibly be looking at on a hot Wednesday night down the beach, and that is Outdoors Type. What's new with you guys? Where are you? What are you up to? What's been going on in your part of the world? Fill the chat in, and we'll talk about that over time. I am working through a new video that will be out in the next week or so. I'm finally I'm over the 20-minute mark of putting together the Southline video. And I've got a bit of a draft of the first few minutes to show you tonight. I particularly really would like everyone to fact check it because it's kind of fact heavy, and I tend to stuff things up a lot. So that would be great to have you all join in as editors. There's been some interesting stuff as well. Like over the course of the last week, I've been recognised out there by those legends, the van couple living the van life out there at Balhanna. Where are you guys tonight? I assume you've moved on from Balhanna and you're probably somewhere far cooler than Adelaide, or I hope you're somewhere far cooler than Adelaide. Where have you been? What are you up to? And then there's some interesting chats as well, and interesting comments on YouTube. It's quite frustrating at the moment, though, in a way. Graham's on the houseboat on the Murray, living the dream, man. How's the mozzies? Hopefully you've got the rid, or you've got something to keep the mozzies down up there. But bloody beautiful up there in summertime on the river. We did a week on a houseboat up there in summer last year, and yeah, gosh, I mean, it was so bloody hot that wearing pants was kind of optional most days. It's been very hot, and that's brought us challenges, that's for sure. The last couple of comments I've had on my YouTube videos have been thanking other YouTube creators for their videos. I think it's got bugs in the comments side as well. Because the last comment I got was a really great comment talking about how great the video was, and how the model railway club that this guy has is thinking of doing a run, and anyway, he said at the end, "Great work, Kane, keep it up." I've also been called Greg from Fish Plate Films as well. The drone video that I did has scored a comment saying, great drone work. Cheers, Greg. So that's twice this week that people have thanked me for somebody else's video. I don't really know what's going on there, but or possibly they just think that that person is the only person on YouTube making videos. I don't know. Yeah, I gotta yell my name, or I gotta get a big fat t-shirt or something. No, it doesn't matter. Just keep plugging away, as you well know, Drew. Just keep plugging away. But it is an interesting phenomenon that the last few comments on my videos lately are for other people. Probably because I haven't done much in the way of content over the last couple of months. It was a real sprint up until the end of December last year, and January just kind of slipped into the abyss, and I am gearing up, I'm tooling up, I'm doing the research, I'm getting everything behind the scenes fired up to get rolling again with a schedule of videos across 2025. So yeah, the heat is also challenging as well. I did go out and do half a day of filming for this Southline video, and then it started to get to around 41 degrees, and at that point in time it just wasn't fun anymore. And we only do it while it's fun, so kind of had to can a couple of days of filming over the last few weeks because of this heat. It's probably the first time in, I reckon, maybe even a decade we've hit 43, 44 degrees here in Adelaide. It's been a really long time. I don't know what you guys think, but yes, certainly, Noel. I've been copped a bit of the sunburn on the first couple of days, and I didn't really realise what was about to happen. If I remember, and if we get time, we might look at Kane's latest vid. He's not here as well, but I want to congratulate Kane as well. He did a video on the semaphore railway. The semaphore. It's not. I wouldn't call it miniature railway. It's not miniature. It's a ride-on railway, right? But no, he's done a great video on that, which is broken through as well. So it's great to see all of these Adelaide creators talking about South Australian things and reaching bigger audiences. I've had a lot of new info on the Merino railway line, the rather short-lived Merino railway line, but I've now got about half a dozen images. I've got a good idea of the map, and I've got some great reference material in terms to do a short video on the Merino railway line. You're going to Yorks this weekend, man. What a beautiful part of the world, hey? I'm sure you're going to find a whole bunch of footy ovals. But Barker's Rocks is a bloody good spot. And Stenhouse Bay is always on my list. I can't remember what the name of the cape is down there, but the national park down there at the bottom of York Peninsula and Stenhouse Bay is always a beautiful spot. Not sure how beautiful it's going to be if it's 43 degrees. It's not really anywhere that's beautiful in South Australia in 43 and 44 degrees, though. Yeah, thanks, Gary. Welcome aboard, man. I think we've had you aboard a couple of times, man. So great to see you, and thanks for chiming in. Yeah, I'll have to look up Barker's Rocks and see what I can do there. But I reckon you did that video a few months ago, hey Drew. And maybe we do a book of the week. I'm not really sure what I've got in the book of the week. And I've got some galleries as well of some of the historical images, hundreds of historical images that I've collected of the main South Line. It really astonishes me how deep I can go into the State Library photo archives and find what I find. And then a week later, I'll go back in and maybe come at it from a slightly different angle, and I'll find so much more. They're not always listed as rail, train, station, or locations or whatever. So you have to try it a little bit differently. So sometimes just trying railway search, and you end up wading through 1,000 videos or whatever, but you'll find videos, find images at locations that you wouldn't have found any other way because they're just sort of lumped in with that big railway pot. So it's really interesting. And I want to talk maybe about a proposal for a virtual train ride where we all get on board a red hen, and we'll go back to that towards the end of the show. Is it a show? I don't know. Right, without further ado, I'm going to go to the preview. I think this is the first 5 minutes I have fully edited together of the new video. I'd love to get your ideas on fact-checking this one. Have I got it right? Was there actually 11 stations on opening? Keep an eye out for that one. Welcome back to Outdoors Time. In this video, we're going to explore the main South Line from Adelaide to Tailem Bend. And who knows, I might even do a bit of train spotting, because this is still an active main line. The main South Railway line from Adelaide travels east over the Mount Lofty Ranges to the Murray River at Murray Bridge and onwards to Victoria. Construction began in 1879 with the Adelaide to Nairn Railway line. Things escalated quickly and the line progressed to the Victorian border by 1887. It opened to Nairn with 11 stations. Stations further east along the line to Tailem Bend on opening were Callington, Monarto, Murray Bridge and Tailem Bend. At the time it was built, the arduous route of the hills was single track for the entire way and included 9 tunnels and 3 large bridges. The idea of the South Line began as an aspiration in the 1850s to connect Adelaide with the River Murray and its trade. Routes were surveyed and proposed all over the hills in the mid-north, from Kapunda up north to the Sturt Valley and Wellington in the south. It wasn't until the 1860s that possible routes were brought back into focus again, as the ironwork ordered for the bridge over the river at Edwards Crossing had arrived. However, it sat idle for nearly 5 years as Parliament bickered over its proposed location.
Until they finally decided to build it where it was originally proposed for, here at Murray Bridge. It was about now that the idea that a railway line could be built to Victoria over the river here began to catch on. Still,
yeah, Roger, I get it, yeah.
Railway to make it here.
Construction of the line that we have today. I'll chuck another filter on it. commenced in 1879. It took over 800 men 4 years to complete the first... I've just added some gain to the video now. Hopefully that works. Their way through 8 tunnels, deep cuttings, and built 2 viaducts. The rubble and stone was shoveled into wheelbarrows, horse-drawn carts, and hand-pushed rail trucks. Twin broad-gauge tracks and the big power era of the 1920s changed much of the landscape. 2 bridges were replaced altogether, the line strengthened, and most stations... Live streaming's always so hard to tell, so I really appreciate you all telling me to up the volume or whatever needs to happen. The project in 1995 meant the line became 2 single tracks on 2 gauges. One broad gauge for suburban services, owned by the state government, the other standard gauge for interstate and freight services, owned by the federal government. Along with this conversion, stations on the Belair line at Myland Goods, Hawthorne and Clapham closed. The other Belair... How awesome is that Tailem Bend Museum, Kingsley? It's bloody awesome. I did spend 15 minutes in that museum, and you'll see that at the tail end of this video. On the Port Adelaide line, long before the South Line began. You know, it's interesting, I think, too, when I look at black and white photos of things back in the day, it all kind of just seems cold and grey. You don't really get any sort of idea of perhaps what the temperature was like. You don't really know if it's sunny, cloudy, whatever, and you think just some of those photos, like this one, for example, I mean, it could have been a 43-degree day in that photo, and so you see the clothes that the people were wearing. Having said that, though, those clothes were generally all natural fibres, and so I suspect they probably dealt with the heat a little easier than we do in our polyester and our nylon. Precinct happened in the early 1980s with the ACER and the hotel development. So the biggest changes since the 1920s basically involved us just hiding the station and covering it all up with corporate concrete nightmares, turning the platforms into soulless utilitarian spaces and filling its once beautiful halls with a casino. All of this right next to Parliament House. What have they done here? Right, this clip's going to end in a sec. I do follow some of those colorized image pages, Drew. Colorizing black and white photos is kind of another job in itself, another task that I would gladly delegate to any other member of the team at this point in time. Yeah, it's now the Guardsman restaurant, part of the Sky City Casino, and it is a beautiful restaurant with beautiful food. Yeah, there was that plan for it to basically use the King William Tunnel to go head out east, essentially, and then around through Norwood and Burnside and all of that kind of thing, and then up the Glen Osmond Valley. There were so many routes surveyed that all I could really do was just do that little map there and just sort of give people an impression of just how many routes and how wild and wonderful they were. Because again, I could do another whole video just on those routes. And the South Line officially began when the privately owned Glenelg Railway branched off from the main North Line west of Morfett Street Bridge. Oh my goodness, did I put the whole video on here or what? No, I'm sure I didn't. No, we're getting towards the end, but I just wanted to give you an idea that I would actually eventually leave Adelaide Railway Station and we would start to get out onto the South Line a bit. Now, I hadn't heard of that actual story, the one I heard was it was going to follow the exhibition line essentially, or the route of that, and then head out to Norwood and the like. I'll go back though and look a bit deeper and see whether or not that was included in there. Right, there we go. See, I did make it to the Mile End Central bit there. Right, that's it. That's enough of that. I don't know whether I accidentally rendered out the whole 23 minutes of the video, but there you go. So that's a bit of a preview of me finally being back on the video editing horse. I do get a fair bit of ADHD when it comes to editing. It's really difficult to edit your own work sometimes because it's like, oh God, I've already been there and taken all the footage. If I have to see this place one more time. Railways in the Adelaide Hills by Roger Salas. That book is becoming incredibly dog-eared. And the route that went out east and went through the parklands as well, headed just a bit north of Government House, essentially where the exhibition line is today. Well, the exhibition line was, and where the Torrens Parade Ground is today. Those routes were only very sort of lightly surveyed, so there's really only... Here in 2025, there's only those stories that give a rough description. I'm sure if you dug deep enough into state government records and archives, you could probably find the surveys, but we are talking, the 1860s and the 1870s here. So, yeah. What was I going to do? That's right, we're going to do some galleries, because I had some questions on things here. So hopefully I've got this gallery set up right. Now we're in the gallery there. And I'll go into it so I can press the button and make it do the thing like this. Here we go. So here is the first railway. Yes, they did, Graham. Yep. Out through up through Dry Creek from where Northfield Station was, and through Tea Tree Gully, and then up through the Torrens Gorge. When the video comes out, and if you pause it and look closely at that map, I did the best job I could in accurately representing where all the railway lines that I could learn about from Railways in the Adelaide Hills, where all the proposed railway lines were. Essentially, there's a lot of straight lines in there because that's all the description gives me, but it'll give you a good idea of exactly where these lines were intended to go. This is the first steam engine to be delivered to South Australia, one of three actually, and this is SAR Loco number 1. Oh look, I don't have my little face in there, but at any rate, probably getting sick of seeing it anyway. This was the first train to run on the Adelaide to Port Adelaide line, so I had to track that down because I made mention of the Adelaide to Port Adelaide line. I found this image really interesting. This is the overland train coming into Penera, which is the next station up the line from Belair. And if you go to Penera, and if you know Penera, I don't know what, lost me on the pronunciation with that one. But this is a train coming in from the east. And if so many times I contrast these photos with what the location looks like today, and the area around Pinera, we'll call it this time, is really, really heavily wooded. You would not recognise the location from this photo today. And so the only sort of way that I know that it's Pinera is the portion assigned down there in the bottom left. It's curious because it's facing the wrong direction. So this photo raises all sorts of questions. Pinera. Okay, cool. Pinera. I like that one better. We'll go with that. I've probably mispronounced. No, actually, I took the pronunciations of Pinera out and just went with the video that I had. This is one of two of the wrought iron bridges, in addition to the viaducts that were built along the line between Adelaide and the river. If it hasn't been stolen, Drew, then it's likely. There is remains of the old station, but generally station signs are pretty coveted, and I don't think there's any left lying around. And if there is, then let me know, because I want one for my shed too. It is the same issue with Pitchy Richie. Pronunciation, unless you're local, it's just one of those things. This is the bridge over over Scott's Creek, and so I kept seeing these references to Scott's Creek. There is no contemporary reference to Scott's Creek. It's now Dorsley Creek. That's one of those creeks that you cross in a deep valley as you take the freeway out to Murray Bridge. And just a little further upstream, you had this massive wrought iron bridge. It was replaced in 1925 with a giant embankment. So the amount of engineering that went into this creek crossing, first of all, the bridge, and then second of all, the bridge getting demolished so the track could be strengthened with an embankment. You can't actually I tried to get to the embankment and to get to the location, but it is way out of range on private property. I went up and down Ironstone Range Road and Petwood Road and all these roads there following it, trying to get as close as I could. No, this is, you're talking about Cox's Creek, Jay. This is Scott's Creek, which is a bit further down near Kanmantoo and the copper mine. I'll show you Scott's Creek. This is Cox's Creek Bridge. I think I mispronounced that too in the video. It's Cox Creek Bridge, but anyway, we all like a good Cox Creek Bridge. Similar thing again. There was a big dam on the left-hand side of the photo where Cox's Creek was dammed at what is now Arbury Park Outdoor School. And again, it is so heavily wooded these days that you would not recognise the location. The only way you can recognise it was something there is the embankment was essentially put in just slightly to the left of the bridge, and I did need a drone to actually get up and see the remnants of the abutments, that's the proper name, of the bridge are still there either side of the massively tall embankment. This is Scott's Creek again, sorry about that, but you get a sense of just how big the embankment that they put in there, the amount of engineering that was required to replace that when you look at this side-on image. Another one, this is sometimes called the bridge at Bridgewater, funnily enough. And could possibly be why it's called Bridgewater. I don't quite remember. I should know that, but I don't. And so this is an overland going over that bridge at Bridgewater, buried in the scrub up behind the Bridgewater Hotel. So if you're ever up that way, go for a bit of a walk along the path. Pretty cool little path there along Cox Creek, and it is the Hyson Trail. And another view of the Cox's Creek Bridge. So there you go. I have just remembered that I've got to plug my computer in. It's warning me that it's about to run out of power. So, let's plug that in and knock everything over in the meantime. Oh boy, it is hot. Even in here with the evaporative air conditioning, which starts to struggle a little bit after a couple of days of heat. No, I was going to maybe have a look at Kane's latest vid, but I'd encourage everybody to go over to Kane's channel and check that out. Chuck the video a like. It is an excellent little video on an excellent little railway. Book of the week. Do I have a book of the week? No, I've run out of books of the week lately. I feel like I need some Book of the Week mojo to come back. Maybe later in 2025, the Book of the Week mojo will come back. But I have a really cool idea for a video. Now, I sought permission to use clips from a video that the National Railway Museum posted on their YouTube a couple of years back, and it's a video from the Barry Hawes collection, and it's essentially a driver's eye view of a trip in a red hen train from Bridgewater to Adelaide. And I'll go to share Chrome. I'll get share Chrome working, transition over to that, and then I'll bring Chrome up. Just check my monitor, see if that's going to come up in a minute, because everything's going kind of black. What's going on there? Oh, that's right, I probably haven't got Chrome set to the right window. Sorry. Let's go to that one. There we go. That should come up in a second. And just wait until I finally hit the play button. There we go. So go have a look at the National Railway Museum's YouTube page, right? And this is the driver's eye view of a red hen as it comes into Aldgate in 1986. And it features some imagery of railway stations in the Adelaide Hills that have now been completely demolished. In 1986, a lot of the infrastructure was still in place for some of the stations that haven't been demolished. And so looking at Aldgate here, you see the island platform on the left. It's even got signs. You see a lot of stuff there. None of that exists today in 2025. So what I would like to propose as the last thing for good chats for tonight, and the idea has just kind of hit me, what we're going to do is get permission to use the whole video, and then I'm going to invite people to join me through the OBS chat room, through Video Ninja. And we're all going to populate the train, and we're all going to go on a virtual train ride from Bridgewater down to Adelaide, and we'll all have our little faces pop up all over the screen. And so essentially you can all dial in, and we can all go live and have a chat together as we ride this 52-minute train journey from Bridgewater to Adelaide. So who'd be up for that? Who'd be up to jump on cam, join me in the chat room? We'll all appear on screen, and we'll all go riding the train. Hopefully I can get some takers for that. So let me know, and in the next couple of weeks I'll tee that up, and I'll let everybody know that that's going to be on the live stream on Wednesday night. Join me live for a train ride from Bridgewater to Adelaide. Right, stuff that, bugger that, off of that now. Go back to that screen. Alright, well, we are 35 minutes into it tonight, and we normally talk about doing a 30 to 45 minute live stream, and so that's where we're at for tonight. I've run through just about everything here. I'm going to have to work harder to find a book of the week. In other news, I've teed up a meeting with Noel and one of the curators up at the Coffs Harbour Library to happen next month as well. So that will be really cool to meet somebody else who's been a fan of the channel, and to meet some people at the library there who have linked to my videos and been so encouraging with the Coffs Harbour videos that I've done over the last few years. So essentially with this Video Ninja stuff, I essentially just send you a link, and then you guys would have seen it before on other live chats or on TV, for what it's worth, right, where people are talking obviously from their mobile phone, they've got their headphones in and that kind of thing. So I can bring all that in, and we can all appear and we can all appear just like the Brady Bunch in the front seat of a red hen. I'm sticking to water for now. That's probably, I've got to get more water into me, man. Alright. Right, well, we've been back in the studio this week, and I got to admit, it's kind of nice to be off the road and not have a hour-long drive to get home at the end of this. I definitely need a beer, Steve. Thank you for that suggestion. This has been a really interesting night tonight. It's so hot that everybody's just decided to not do the other things that they normally do and spend a bit of time with us here on Good Chats. And I really want to thank you for that. There's been up to 21 people in the chat room at any one time. So we are growing. We're getting better and better with age, and we're seeing a lot more people come in. We're getting a lot of interesting chats going on, a lot of interesting information. I want to thank Noel for being first on board tonight. Thank you very much, sir. Steve Klink for always being here. Sorry I made it so hard to find the live stream last week, mate. I'm always learning and always pushing the boundaries. Drew's Adventures, I'm honoured to have you on board, mate. Thank you for coming on board. Say good day to Heather when you catch up with her as well. Andy Munro, thank you for coming on board again, sir. JK, thank you for coming on board and for all your input as well, especially the Pinera bit. I might just go straight to you for pronunciations next time. Ree, thank you for coming on board. Luke's Fishing in the Northern Territory. Yes, sir. Thank you again for coming on board. Graham Dory, up there on the river. Wow, the audience is coming from everywhere tonight, and this is brilliant. Who else have we had on board? We've had Kingsley Purvis from all over the place. He's from WA, but he's getting around the country at the moment, that's for sure. Keep safe and happy travels. O'Malley Tours, enjoy the mini moke. Just hopefully you get it back off the beach again. Josh, you would say, thank you for coming on board, mate. Would love to see you on board for the train ride. I'm going to say I'll try and tee it up for next week. So let's see if we can all be on board next week for the Red Hen ride. Who else have we had on board tonight? Amber or Amber K or I don't know. Enjoy van life. So great to see you guys out there and enjoying the van life and getting a cool breeze down at Wollonga there. Good on you guys. Gary Warrior piped up as well. Thanks for chiming in. Always appreciate hearing and seeing new people and people who haven't been here before. That is a really good Red Hen ride. So Drew, I know you know what this is about when I do the video ninja links and stuff like that. So God, and everyone's saying yes, they're up for it. Oh God, this is going to be absolute chaos next week. Steve Klink, pinned link with a list of people with channels. I must admit, right off the top of my head, I don't necessarily know how to do that within the live stream, but this is why I do this live stream, is because I get great ideas like that one, Steve. So let me see what I can work out, because so many of you all have such great channels as well that I'm really honoured by y'all being here on this channel to spend some time with me. Enjoy the National Railway Museum next week, Kingsley. It is an awesome place. It's always a lot quieter. I mean, I just kind of think that place should be absolutely pumping all the time. Everybody should come down here and see this, but no, more often than not, it's very quiet. But that being what it is what it is. So this has been Good Chats, which is me essentially talking at a microphone for half an hour or so, alongside some of the most interesting people on YouTube, and that is all of you in the chat room. I learned so much from everybody, and I look forward to bringing a Red Hen ride from Bridgewater to Adelaide and having you all on board for the journey next week. Let's see how that goes. Anyway, until next week, thank you so much again. We'll see you here on the tube, same time next week. As always, peace out.